Yat welcome to Four Directions of Wellness. I'm Roberta Diswood. Twopahanishle, Sisakani Bashichin, Nakaidanet Deshiche Hana Nidashnelle. Every year, young Diné women compete for the prestigious title of Miss Navajo Nation. This year, 8 contestants from Dinetra came together during the Navajo Nation Fair to showcase their skills and talents. Their skills and talents included both contemporary and traditional, as well as a butchering competition and panel interviews. The young lady who is crowned Miss Navajo Nation demonstrates the balance of living a contemporary and traditional way of life. This year, Crystal Littleben was crowned Miss Navajo Nation 2017-2018, and she is with us today. Hi, Crystal. Thanks for being here, and go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Good morning, Roberta. Yat benesh Crystal Littleben inishya. Kenlechini nishle ma idesh kijni bashichin. Be between dashiche autobut anhe dashanale. Ako tanakana bizuk lejas ahada cashed in the 20ness is 8 ayisidet nasha. Kareya nale tsaga hodzane de eshagan. Ako nadin ashla eshanache. Ara nave hobich ekent na kedemid doba ansos it's ada do na kedemid doba anse beats ada nishle. And I am of the Red House clan, born for the Coyote Pass clan, and my maternal grandfather's clan are the Deer Springs clan, and my paternal grandfather's clan are the Under His Cover clan. And I'm from Round Rock, Arizona, and but I was born and raised in Tuba City, Arizona. And I'm 25 years old, and I'm the current Miss Navajo Nation 2017-2018. And thank you so much for having me here. I was really excited for this, so thank you so much for inviting me here. I'm really enjoying it so far.
So every year, as the new Miss Navajo comes in, she brings in her own platform and things that she wants to accomplish for the year. Go ahead and tell us about that.
So this year, as Miss Navajo Nation, my platform is holistic well-being. And I got this, I guess, idea and topic from my background. I went to Northern Arizona University. I got my Bachelor's of Arts degree in psychology and a minor in Native American Studies. And so through my years in college, I learned about the importance of having the balance of physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. And so I believe that having that balance and that positivity within those 4 components is very important. And so that's why that's my platform this year, and that's what I'm trying to encourage to not just our Navajo Nation, but everyone that I run into, everyone nationwide as well. So I just believe that, being positive and having that physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional positive health is important.
So talking about those 4 ways, can you go into a little more about maybe a couple of those? Okay.
So for the physical component, one way that we can take care of ourselves physically is not only running and walking. There's like aerobics or yoga that we can do to take care of our body. And then for the mental component, one of the things I really stress for is to keep your mind healthy and to be positive and to just work your mind like with puzzles or any kind of cognitive exercises that you can do. That's one way to keep your mind occupied and to keep it growing and also to keep it positive. That's one thing, is positivity. And for the emotional health and the spiritual health, I feel like those 2 go together. And for whatever if you're religious or if you're traditional, any kind of spiritual help is great. And so that's one of the things that I really encourage, is to go back to your faith as well. And that's one of the things that you can do, is pray to yourself. That's one of the things that I like to encourage, and to pray for not just yourself but for everyone. And for the Navajo term, it's ada'ahulia. So that's taking care of yourself. And that's my overall platform, is to take care of yourself and to not forget about yourself while you're taking care of others, like your parents, your grandparents, your kids, your grandkids. Don't forget to take care of yourself.
Those are really, good ways of reaching out to people, as well as trying to, it is sometimes you forget about what you're doing for yourself. For you, during the time you ran for Miss Navajo, what was one of the things that stood out for you?
As in
contestant.
As a contestant, what stood out for me, as what I think I stood out about myself, I think that for me, I really planned out my skills and my talent according to my platform that I eventually wanted to bring awareness about and to talk about, because I put in self-defense. That's one way you could take care of yourself physically, also mentally. And then I also did silversmithing. I did Navajo silversmithing. And people do that for their mentality and also physically. And also that's a way to, they can take care of themselves, not only with those two components, but economically, so they can make money and they can take care of their families through there. And then the next thing I did was I sang 2 songs. One I made up myself. And that's one way I learned growing up, was that knowing songs, knowing how to sing just a few songs, that's one way that, you know, you can take care of yourself. And because songs are prayers as well. And another thing that I did was, what did I do for my talent? Oh, I talked about the summer constellations. And that one was storytelling. And storytelling is one of the things that you can do too to take care of yourself. And you know how that our Navajo culture is all oral history, oral traditions are passed through just stories, and so that's one of the things I tried to implement into that. And I'm hoping that that's what the judges looked at, is how I really connected everything together, and I kept saying that this is how you can take care of yourself. So that's one of the things I think that's what stood out.
And let's go briefly back to your crowning. What was the first thought that came into your head?
My first thought was, oh my God. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. And you know, it was raining during that time too, so I took the rain as a blessing. So it was such a great moment. I would never forget that moment. And there's really a lot goes through your mind, a lot of happiness, and then just to see my family standing on the side and just seeing everyone, and then having to speak to them as a new Miss Navajo is a really great feeling. It's a very emotional moment too. So it was great, and I will never forget it. But that was one of the things. I was like, oh my gosh, because when they announced the first runner-up, that's when you know, like, oh my gosh, it's happening. So it was surreal for probably the first week. Yeah, it was a surreal. It's like, is this happening? Because I remember the next morning I forgot I was Miss Navajo until my cousin, she called me and she greeted me by that. She was like, good morning, Miss Navajo. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I forgot for a bit, but that's what I mean by it was surreal.
And so as you're going forward and making your appearances and doing things out in the community, what do you feel you want to leave as your legacy as Miss Navajo?
There are a lot of things that I put down as my goals to achieve as Miss Navajo. My legacy, I have a few ideas and goals that I have and I'm trying to accomplish right now. And one of them is, you know, setting aside a scholarship fund for ladies who are just like struggling, and they need extra money, and that's one of the things that I want to leave behind, is that scholarship. And another thing too is putting up a lot of runs. I do want to do a 5K series, and so everyone can come together, they can run and they can enjoy themselves, and that's one of the things that would go towards my platform, you know, holistic well-being. And another thing too is that, you know, there's bring together all the former Miss Navajos and have them, all of us, create a conference and invite a lot of the young ladies who strive to be either a princess or Miss Navajo or anything that they want to be, and they can learn from former Miss Navajos, because a lot of our former Miss Navajos, they're out doing the best they can. They have a lot of knowledge instilled in them, so bringing all that back, and so they can teach it to our young ladies, young girls. I think that would be one of the great things too, is that just to have that transfer of knowledge, not only professional knowledge, but, culture knowledge. So I think that's one of the things that I want to do. That would be hopefully in the summer next year. Yeah. So that's one of the things that I want to leave behind.
Well, that's good. It always is good to have, what you want to do. And then when you leave by next September as Miss Navajo, what are your future goals?
My future goals are I eventually want to go back to school. Mm-hmm. I want to get my master's in linguistics because I eventually want to go back and teach our Navajo language to our Navajo kids. And that's one of my goals, is just become a linguist and to become like my father. I always say that, either way I'm going to end up like one of my parents, and I have my psychology degree, and my mother is in that field as well. So I was like, okay. I was like, I wanted to go into psychology, more into counseling, but as I got older and I realized that I do want to teach our Navajo language, and it's great, and that's one of my goals. And another thing is to, I guess, work for Diné College. Mm-hmm. Also go back after I complete my reign, go back to my old job before I became Miss Navajo. I was
Mm-hmm.
working for the Navajo Culture Arts program, and I really loved it, and I'm looking forward to going back afterwards.
Well, that's good. Is there anything you want to leave us with, or anything you want to leave people with, about yourself, or about being Miss Navajo?
Well, the only thing that I could really leave with everyone is just to take care of themselves always, to not forget about themselves, is to always take care of themselves physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, and to always be positive, to always smile. I always tell everyone to smile, and it's funny because usually when I say that, everyone's like not smiling, or they're just looking at me very stoic. And when I say everyone smile, that's when everyone cracks up. And it's such a beautiful thing, is just to smile. And that's one thing I encourage to everyone, and to just be positive. Just to be positive. Everything is going by quick, so just be positive about everything, and to count your blessings, and just to be happy. That's one of the things that I would just love to leave with you guys.
Well, I want to thank you for being here today.
Thank you. I enjoyed it, and thank you so much for inviting me.
This has been 4 Directions of Wellness, Hagonet.